Indoor skydiving allows humans to experience flight without wings or planes. A vertical recirculating wind tunnel simulates freefall conditions, which means we can fly for extended periods of time without worrying about altimeters or, well, the ground, as you would during a skydive from a plane. This video will show you what to expect as you learn to fly. Your first flight will be quite different to the superstar demos we've just seen. You'll be hauled into an alien environment of 90-mile-per-hour wind speeds and likely held steady in the middle of the tunnel while you figure out where your limbs are at. Your instructor will probably be gesticulating at you, straighten your legs, bend your legs, relax, and the whole experience may seem a little overwhelming. But at some point during your first flight, things will start to make sense, and you may even fly free for a second or two. Before you know it, your first indoor skydiving experience will be complete, and, all being well, you'll be thinking, that was awesome, when can I do it again? Your next few lessons will start in a similar way to your first, but once you're in the tunnel, you'll be coached on how to maintain a stable body position in flight. You can see here that I'm wearing a full-face G3 helmet, which removes the distraction of the tunnel environment, and allows you to concentrate a little bit better. These are usually available to rent at indoor skydiving venues. During these early lessons, you'll likely find yourself being placed on the tunnel's net. This is a great way to learn body position, as it provides a stable grounding and removes some of the trickier forces that exist in free flight. Once your instructor is confident enough in your ability to apply the body position you learned on the net in the air, you'll find yourself flying with minimal support. This is where your journey really begins. Oh, and you'll likely make a few mistakes along the way. No big deal, it's all part of a learning experience, and your instructor is always ready to scoop you up and put you back where you need to be. The next step after achieving a safe neutral position is learning how to move around the tunnel. Which direction you learn first depends on your instructor. For example, I started off with up and down and forwards and backwards, but the process should be similar regardless. You'll likely start off learning techniques either on the net or supported in the air by your instructor. From here on out, it's all about continuing to learn new stuff, for example, entering the tunnel by yourself, as well as continuing to practice existing techniques until you can do them without physical support from your instructor. This is when you really start to realize that you can fly. As you progress, your skills will be certified or signed off by your instructor, either in a logbook or on the International Body Flight Association website. Either way, this progress happens a lot quicker than you might expect. These quick cut clips were recorded when I had just 20 minutes of total flying time. Learning to turn is especially fun. You'll probably find you're slightly asymmetrical, like all humans are, and have a slight bias to one side. Another skill you'll learn as you progress is how to exit the tunnel on your own. We'll look at this in a little bit more detail later on. As with anything in life, progress in the tunnel is not always linear. Although you'll mostly have great lessons and a ton of fun, occasionally you may have a less than ideal session. After a particularly frustrating block during my journey, I found it really helpful to book the session seen here, where I could just fly, without having to worry about focusing on a specific technique. Once I'd flown these 2 minutes, I was able to head into my next session with a lot more confidence. The instructors are super supportive too. Sometimes you just really need to hear the words, "you can fly." There are some sign-offs which you may find particularly tricky. For me, exiting the tunnel was certainly one of these. To keep things fun, it's sometimes helpful to take a break from any roadblocks you encounter. For example, after my fall from grace in my last clip, I spent a session practicing docks. This helped develop forwards, backwards, and turning skills, which are all very useful foundation skills for exits. There are also tunnel games, which your instructors might use as a fun way of reinforcing techniques. For example, chasing them around the tunnel and high-fiving specific markers on the walls at different heights. When you become really experienced, there's even a power lap challenge, which is a time trial, touching every marker in the tunnel in the shortest time you can. These are some of the techniques I experienced to reinforce the basics, to prepare me for another attempt at getting exits right. I ticked off my arch nemesis exits after this session, where we drilled them for 2 minutes straight. I hope these last few clips have demonstrated that even if you do find something particularly difficult, given enough reinforcement and practice, one day it will click and you'll get your sign off. We've now covered all the main indoor skydiving skills, except one. Side slides are a skill which are generally left quite late in basic body flight progression. Even with all the other skills in the bag, you may still accidentally kick your instructor in the face while learning side slides. As with any skill, you'll likely start off learning side slides on the net, and while learning them, you may well be reintroduced to your old friends, asymmetry and bias. The instructors will help out with correcting these issues through training and physical support, techniques you'll be familiar with by now. Before you know it, you'll have every single belly flight skill signed off and be a competent, certified Level 1 indoor skydiver. From here on out, you could continue to fly in the standard belly position, improving every time, and visiting different indoor skydiving tunnels. For example, this iFLY tunnel on a cruise ship was pretty fun. Or you could embark on one of the many progression paths and learn to fly like the people shown in those demos at the start of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this useful and entertaining. If you did, please drop a like and feel free to subscribe. I'll be sure to post the occasional skydiving video in future if it's something everyone enjoys. Take care, and I'll see you next time.